Howdy, y'all. So I'm guessing you're wondering, how does it work with the Arizona Trail in the Grand Canyon? Are there campsites available for Arizona Trail hikers? Do you need permits? Um, is there food there? All that good information. Well, you've come to the right video. We're going to go ahead and discuss that over the next 8 to 9 minutes. And I also wanted to say that I have a couple other videos up right now. One on the food resupply, and then the other one on a general overall of the whole trail. Feel free to slap a like or subscribe button if this content works for you. Yeah, so let's get started. So it's going to be a northbound trail coming up here in mid-February. So we're going to be doing this as a northbound hiker would be going. So they would be arriving at the South Rim. Before the South Rim, you will come to a town called Tusayan. And Tusayan is really just a gateway to the Grand Canyon. From there, you're going to essentially road walk. It's a bike path, but you're going to walk that bike path for 6 miles until you get into the entrance of the Grand Canyon. I've never had to pay entrance into the Grand Canyon. I do have a National Parks pass, but I've never had an issue on foot. Once you get into the Grand Canyon, if you're looking to camp at the South Rim, you can. And you want to check into Mather Campground. At Mather Campground, there's a little office and sometimes a kiosk as well if there's nobody at the office. It's $6 per night per person. They have 2 sites available, 24 and 25, with bear boxes that are specially allocated for hike and bike people that are arriving at the Grand Canyon. Yes, people do bike the Arizona Trail, but they're not allowed to have wheels down in the Grand Canyon. So those spots are always available for you, so you don't have to worry about camping before the canyon and then trying to hike through the whole thing in one go. There are spots available for you at the Grand Canyon. They're very helpful, very accommodating, probably the most accommodating national park that I've hiked through, and I've hiked through a good bit. All right, so also at the South Rim, you have the backcountry permit office, and this is definitely a place that you're going to have to go if you want to spend any nights inside the canyon. The Grand Canyon is a very large and amazingly beautiful place. For some people, this could be the first and maybe the last time that they ever go to the Grand Canyon. So I don't think you should just rush through it. I think you should definitely spend as much time inside the canyon as possible and food allows. So you can go to the backcountry office and you can speak to them about backcountry permits. Each permit costs $10 for the permit itself and then $12 per person. So if you had a permit for one person, that would be $22. If you had a permit for 2 people, that would be $34. So that's how the permits work, and we'll go over some of the places you can camp inside of the canyon. Also at the South Rim, there is some bathrooms there at the campground that have charge ports so you can charge up all your gear. There's also a laundromat and a shower station that's just mere steps away from your campsites, 24 and 25. At the general store, you can find a great selection of resupply. I've actually resupplied there twice. I've also sent boxes to the Grand Canyon twice to the post office that's located directly next door to the general store. The general store has Wi-Fi and a great selection of beer, and you can make your own 6-packs there. They also have a very good pizza, not too cheap, not too expensive, but very good. And there is a charging port behind the ice machine inside the general store. Both the general store and Chase Bank have Wi-Fi, and Chase Bank's Wi-Fi is better in my opinion. All right, so after you end up going into the Grand Canyon and you try to think about, is there any places that you can camp in the Grand Canyon? Well, there is camping at large, which are based on zones inside the Grand Canyon, and then there are 3 official campgrounds. Now, 2 of those official campgrounds are on the Arizona Trail. The other campground is on the Bright Angel Trail. Anything in between is zoned backcountry at large camping, and you can speak to the permits office at the at the backcountry office up on the rim if you want to do that. Each one of these 3 campgrounds that are inside the Grand Canyon have available spots for Arizona thru hikers. How do they have available spots? Well, they have these things called stock campsites. And what's a stock campsite? A stock campsite is if you were to, say, decide to hike down the Grand Canyon with your horse or your mule or pack mules. They have spots that are big enough for your horse or your mule or your pack mules and you to camp in. And as you can imagine, it's not really a common thing anymore that people bring their own horse to do the Grand Canyon. So those spots are pretty much always available. And like I said, you need to speak to somebody at the backcountry permit office for that. Once you get to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, you have the Phantom Ranch, the famous Phantom Ranch. There is a beer that is specifically only purchased at the Phantom Ranch. Unfortunately for us hikers, it is no longer available after the COVID and stuff like that. They don't really allow people to buy things out of the canteen unless you are a person who has a cabin there. So you can get minimal selection of things, some small snacks, Gatorade, iced tea, and lemonade, which, by the way, are very delicious. They're $6 a piece, and they're free refills. Each time that I've done it, they've given me one for free. I think they could see how tired and thirsty I was, so maybe you can be as lucky as me. At that same area of Phantom Ranch, there's also a ranger station. So for some strange reason you're having issues, you don't think that you can make it through on your timeline, or you're slower than your timeline is allotted, and you're looking for a place to stay in the canyon while you're hiking through, you can check in at the Bright Angel Ranger Station and just ask. The worst thing they can say is no. Each time that I've gone through, I stopped through, I've gotten either trail magic or a free night stay. They do have a small hiker's box there. Do not expect anything crazy. But you can get a soup or something like that, which is all. Wading in some cold, refreshing water. You can do that at the Bright Angel Creek, which is right near the Phantom Ranch, and you can also wade in the Colorado River at Boat Beach. Just be very careful of the current. This is generally where people lose their lives, is in that very swift Colorado current. There is some very cool Indian ruins nearby. I would definitely check those out. Side adventures. So when coming from the South Rim, you have 5, I think maybe 6 different ways to enter into the canyon. Hermit's Rest, Kaibab, Bright Angel, New Hants Trail, Escalante, Tonto Trail. There's quite a bit. So from the south, coming from the south to the north, heading northbound, there's definitely a lot more opportunities for side adventures within the canyon. And if you want to spend any extra nights in the canyon, once again, you have to speak to the backcountry permit office. Also, side adventures within the canyon, you have Ribbon Falls, which is really, really cool. Waterfalls that is on your way out of the Grand Canyon going to the North Rim. And there's a little cave there that you can go swim in, and you can even take a shower on the top of the falls. Just be aware that the bridge getting to the falls is out, so you'll be taking the first trail that is without a bridge. Do not go for the second trail with the bridge, because there is no bridge. Lastly is Roaring Springs. So Roaring Springs is very close to the North Rim and the end of the Grand Canyon hike. It's a very mysterious place. They don't really know where the water's coming from and how much of it exists. It does supply every single town north of the Grand Canyon. It's a very impressive thing to see, so I'd definitely check it out. North Rim. Once you get to the North Rim, once again, there is a campground there. At that campground is what I would call the best campsite on trail. It's $6 as well, and you go check in at the office and pay your $6, and it goes right out on a finger that overlooks the canyon. It's amazing for sunset, so definitely stay at that place. There's a general store there, and in the general store there's a mediocre selection. You can definitely top up. It's more expensive than the South Rim and not as good selection. It's more expensive because it's a little bit remote there, a little bit more remote, which makes sense. There are bathrooms that are nearby. There's one at the backcountry office, which I will provide a map and show you where that's at. That'll be the last image of this reel. And yeah, that's pretty much the Grand Canyon in a nutshell. You know, if you're going southbound, it's a little bit different, but I think you can figure it out. If there's anything I didn't cover, feel free to ask me in the comments, and I'll answer it as best as possible. Once again, slap a like if this video was good, and subscribe if you like this content and want to see more of it. All right, guys, we'll see you out there. Happy trails.